and to have the presidents of those colleges and universities defend it, which was wild.
Completely.
With cameras on them.
Yeah.
Like,
It
not
shows
even
how
behind closed
scared they
doors.
are. It shows how afraid they are of actually calling out what is right and what is wrong.
I think it also shows how they live in a bubble. And I don't think they interact with the real world. And I think when they did, the shock was probably it was probably horrifying to just to realize how most people feel about what they said.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's not harassment unless it's actionable. Like,
Jeez.
what the fuck are you saying?
Exactly.
You're saying death to the Jews, so you have to kill Jews,
right?
And then it's harassment.
Exactly.
Isn't that a little late?
I was shocked, like everyone else, at not only their statements, but how every one of them sitting at that table on that day said almost the exact same thing.
Like, oh, this is a real problem. This is infesting the world. This ideology is pervasive. And it's not well thought out. This is not just like fact-based, objective assessment, being kind and understanding and taking into account all the variables.
Yeah.
No, it's like a cult.
Yeah. The problem is not everyone is seeing what's really happening. You still have the AOCs of the world and many people within the leadership of the Democratic Party who this is the direction we are headed.
Yeah.
And that's a very dangerous thing for so many reasons, but obviously because they're in a position of power and how they're using that power and how they're undermining the rule of law and choosing, again, who gets to speak freely and who gets to go and do whatever they want, break the law, disturb the peace, acts of violence, because what you think that their cause is justified.
First was Brett Weinstein and Evergreen College. And people are like, why do you care what's happening in these obscure colleges? I go, hey, they're going to graduate.
Yes.
Like when I see fire and it's 5 miles away, I don't go, oh, it's 5 miles away. I go, hey, we got to get the fuck out of here now. Like, get out of here now.
Yeah.
Fire's coming.
Yeah.
Get out. Like, this is, like, you don't see that these kids are going to leave school.
Yeah.
If they're so crazy, they believe that you should have a day where you tell white people they have to stay home. When it used to be that it was an appreciation of people of color. So they could take the day off and they would get paid. And you go, oh, I really miss Mike. You know, I really miss Tanya. It'd be great if she was here. And boy, it's hard not working with her, and doing her job and my job at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But telling white people they have to stay home and then threatening them with baseball bats if they don't, have people roaming the parking lot with bats. When I saw that, I was like, this is crazy. And so many people were saying, why do you care? Well, they're
24, where they want to control what information you get about certain candidates, what information you're not allowed to see, who is being pushed forward and who is not, and undermining our basic responsibility as citizens, which is to cast an informed vote and engage in our democracy and actually have a government of, by, and for the people. They're terrified of us doing that and making what they believe is the wrong choice. So they're trying to take away our right to do it so they can remain in power. And in their minds, I know many of these people, and they feel justified in what they're doing, that they are the righteous ones, that they are standing up for America and standing up for democracy, so much so that they are willing to destroy our democracy to save it in their minds, which is a dangerous, dangerous mindset that we could see in foreign dictators in different parts of the world and throughout history.
It really is. And it's astonishing how few people are willing to accept that it still takes place today.
And the director stood there with a straight face and proudly said, well, we have provided a one-time payment of $700 to everyone who has been impacted by this fire or displaced by this fire. And that was her big announcement that she was there to make. One single one-time payment of $700.
So that means you have 700 servings of ramen.
Basically. I mean, you can't even rent a bedroom in someone's house for $700. It
certainly you can't for 8 months.
No.
That's what's crazy.
No.
$700 is so crazy. It's just such an insulting and ridiculous number. And the fact that they haven't given more, it's like, but yet they're flying people around on airplanes that come in illegally through the border?
Yeah.
Just like, how much does
Yeah.
that cost?
Yeah,
What
exactly.
does that program cost?
Exactly.
Like, what does that cost?
Multi-billions of dollars. A people, a community who are rightfully skeptical about government coming in and saying, okay, well, we're going to help you, when that same government said, oh yeah, hey, we may at that time, and the governor said this, and then he corrected himself later on, but he's like, oh yeah, we're thinking about and talking about how we can turn this entire place, have the government take ownership of it and turn it into some kind of memorial or some kind of workforce housing, which obviously made people really freaking mad to say,
Yeah.
like, well, who the hell are you to come in here and say you're just going to take our land? You're just going to
Yeah.
take it and
It's
do what
crazy.
you want with it? So they're obviously very skeptical and rightfully so about, the fine print. What does it mean if I accept a few bucks here or there from the federal government? What power am I ceding to you to determine my future, the future of my family and our home?
And unfortunately, the rest of the country has forgotten about it.
By and large, yeah.
Yeah, there's always a new thing in the news. There's